Imagine waking up one morning, and the sky looks wrong. The sun is frozen in place. Oceans are violently retreating in one part of the world while crashing down like mountains in another. You have only minutes to react. Entire cities are being erased off the map. What if I told you this isn't just sci-fi, but a terrifying real-world scenario that could happen if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? If you skip this video, you'll miss one of the most mind-blowing what-if scenarios science has to offer. One that affects you, your family, and everything you know. Welcome to Adam's Mind, the channel where the most unimaginable questions become vivid realities. Today, we're diving into a question that blends physics, climate science, geology, and human survival. What if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? It's a concept that sounds like the plot of a blockbuster movie, but the consequences are grounded in real science. We'll go step by step into the environmental, biological, and societal chaos that would follow. Stay till the end, because the last 60 seconds of this video will reveal the safest places you could possibly be if the unthinkable ever happened. Let's begin. 1. The speed. We're spinning. You might not realize it, but right now you're moving at about 1,670 kilometers per hour, or over 1,000 miles per hour, simply because the Earth spins on its axis. This rotational motion is what keeps everything, from jet streams to ocean currents, in balance. You don't feel it because everything around you is also moving at the same speed. But imagine that spin coming to a screeching halt. The kinetic energy that keeps everything flowing would turn into a wave of destruction. 2. Instant catastrophe. If the Earth stopped suddenly, everything not anchored to solid bedrock would continue moving at 1,000 miles per hour. This includes entire cities, forests, oceans, and, yes, people. Vehicles would go airborne. Skyscrapers would collapse from the lateral force. Trees would be ripped from the ground. Oceans would slosh across continents. Think of it like a car crash, but on a planetary scale. The equator would be hit hardest, with people in cities like Quito, Singapore, and Nairobi experiencing the most extreme forces. Let's put that into perspective. A jumbo jet's cruising speed is about 900 kilometers per hour. Now imagine everything around you suddenly moving faster than that, without warning. That's not a disaster. That's the end of civilization. 3. The oceans would go wild. Right now, Earth's spin causes water to bulge at the equator due to centrifugal force. Remove that force and gravity pulls everything, including oceans, toward the poles. Coastal flooding in Canada, Scandinavia, and Russia would become permanent. Equatorial zones like Brazil and Indonesia would dry out, turning into cracked deserts. Coral reefs and marine ecosystems would collapse from salinity shifts and sea displacement. Imagine entire islands vanishing beneath rising tides in the north, while equatorial cities become dust bowls. Major cities like London, Hamburg, and Toronto would suddenly become flood zones. 4. Gravity would change. Without the centrifugal effect pushing outward at the equator, gravity would become more intense there. You'd weigh about 0.3% more. That's like gaining 1 to 2 pounds instantly. Athletic performance would drop. Even walking and running would feel more tiring. Migrating animals and birds would become disoriented due to altered gravitational pulls. These subtle changes would have massive ripple effects on ecosystems and human health over time. The animal kingdom would enter a crisis of coordination, migratory patterns collapsing, and food chains breaking down. 5. Permanent day and night without rotation. Earth would still orbit the sun, but one side would face daylight for months, while the other remains in darkness. Day side, blistering heat waves, UV radiation overload, water scarcity. Night side, temperatures dropping to Antarctic levels, complete vegetation collapse. Sleep cycles, agriculture, and mental health would be wrecked. Imagine 6 months of continuous daylight, your crops scorched, water evaporated, and electronics overheating. On the flip side, the night side becomes a land of eternal frost. Cities like Moscow or Helsinki would turn into frozen graveyards. 6. Weather would go berserk. No spin means no Coriolis effect. Weather patterns would become erratic. Jet streams would disappear. Ocean currents would stall, disrupting global weather. Rain belts would shift. Some regions would never see rain again. Flash storms and dry lightning could ignite massive wildfires. You could witness a thunderstorm that lasts for days or droughts stretching years. Entire nations would lose their agricultural base. Europe, for instance, could go from temperate to tundra in a matter of months. 7. Magnetic field collapse. Earth's rotation helps sustain the dynamo effect in its liquid outer core, which generates the magnetic field. A halt could weaken or kill the field. Solar flares and cosmic radiation would directly hit the planet. Skin cancer, electronic failure, and power grid collapse would become everyday issues. Without this magnetic armor, Earth would become vulnerable to the same radiation that sterilizes much of Mars today. Satellite systems would fry, GPS would vanish, and planes would have no safe navigation paths. 8. Tectonic madness. The sudden redistribution of weight, especially water, would stress the Earth's crust. Megaquakes in places that haven't seen activity in centuries. Entire fault lines could rip apart. Subduction zones would shift, triggering volcanic chains. Continents could crack. New mountain ranges might rise while existing ones collapse. The Himalayas could be split open, and new oceans might form in low-lying regions. The Earth would quite literally tear itself apart. 9. Social collapse and survival odds. Let's be real, governments wouldn't be prepared. Transportation networks would fail. Food supply chains would collapse. Panic would ensue as people flee coasts and equatorial regions. Borders would be overwhelmed. Military and police forces would be stretched too thin. Your best chance of survival. Northern regions with geothermal power and sustainable agriculture. Think Iceland, Alaska, or parts of Scandinavia. Underground bunkers would become the new real estate gold. Billionaires might escape, but for most of us, it would be a fight for survival. 10. What if it happens slowly? A gradual slowdown over millions of years would still reshape Earth, but we'd have time to adapt. Cities would migrate away from equator zones. Space-based solar power could help maintain energy needs. Genetic engineering might help species survive, but it would also mean dealing with rising oceans, displaced populations, and massive changes in biodiversity. Climate refugees could number in the billions. Nations would rise and fall with each new temperature belt. Conclusion: the Earth's rotation is the unsung hero of our existence. It keeps climate stable, gravity in check, and the planet shielded from deadly radiation. If it stopped spinning, even for a moment, the results would be catastrophic. So next time you're out walking or driving and it feels like nothing's moving, remember, you're actually flying through space at 1,000 miles per hour. And if that stopped, it wouldn't just change the world, it would end it. If this video opened your eyes, hit like, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of Adam's Mind, where we turn what if into woe. Until next time, stay curious and keep spinning with us.